Hi, thank you so much for coming. Welcome to Brown Bag Lit. We're really happy to see you here today. I'm Chloe Miller. Shasta, Grant, and I started Brown Bag Lit just this January. We're happy to welcome you today to hear from the editor and select contributors from Awakenings, Stories of Bodies and Consciousness, out just recently from ELJ Editions. We hope you'll join us for another event or class. We're offering one poetry and one prose class a month, as well as a monthly first draft club. Our next class is this Thursday from 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's a poetry class on line breaks with me. On Thursday, November 16th from 12 to 2, Shasta will be offering a prose class on developing characters. Our next reading is on Dark Winter Stories with John Copenhaver, Tracy Cross Davis, and Lindsay Merbaum on Monday, December 4th from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can learn more about our offerings on our website, brownbaglit.com, or following us on social media. And I'll be putting everything into the chat. So for today, please make sure that you stay muted during the reading. I recommend you put your screen on speaker view and then gallery view later after the readings for the Q&A. Please do keep the chat open to ask questions, follow along with links, and share anything that you like about the work. And now I'd like to turn it over to Brown Bag Lit co-founder Shasta Grant, who will introduce DIANE GOTTLIEB. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. It's so nice to see all of you here, so many familiar faces. It is my absolute delight to introduce DIANE GOTTLIEB, my dear friend and editor of this stunning anthology. I hope that you, if you haven't bought it already, that you will buy it after this reading. DIANE GOTTLIEB is a writer, educator, and the editor of Awakenings, Stories of Body and Consciousness. Her words appear in 2023 Best Microfiction, River Teeth, HuffPost, Smoke Lawn Quarterly, The Rumpus, Barrel House, and many other lovely places. She is the winner of Terrafet Journal's 2021 Writing Contest in the Nonfiction category and on the 2023 Wigleaf Top 50 Long List, and finalist in the 2023 Florida Review's Nonfiction Contest. DIANE is the prose CNF editor of Emerge Literary Journal on the Hippocampus Magazine's reviews team and is the founder and author of Woman Pause, a newsletter dedicated to lifting the voices of women over 50. Welcome, DIANE.
Thank you so much, Shasta and Chloe, for having us today. I just, before I even talk about why we're here, I just want to give a huge shout out to Brown Bag. I've taken classes with Brown Bag Lit and have been to readings and have loved everything I've done with you guys. So I highly recommend everything that they offer. So I'm so honored to be here and grateful to be here because I am in love with this anthology. I'm in love with the contributors. I so honor their courage and the beauty of their words. And I think this is a really, really important anthology because it just brings light on such an important theme, you know, and our bodies. And we have 4 readers here today, which will just give you a sampling of all the beauty that's in this book. So I'm just really excited, and you know, we'll get cracking. Okay. Some of the readers today are going to have the opportunity to read their whole piece, but others who have longer pieces in the book are going to be reading excerpts. The first one to go is Ezekiel Cork, and Zeke's piece is a wonderful journey of I was going to say self-acceptance, but it's also a befriending and learning about himself. When I knew I was going to do this anthology, edit this anthology, I really was so hopeful that Zeke would send in a piece because I knew his story and it needs to be shared. So I'm just going to read his bio, and then Zeke, you'll take it away. Ezekiel Cork is a trans writer who lives in Missoula, Montana with his wife and 2 rescue mutts. He runs and hikes the local trails, loves cookies, coffee, and trucker hats. His writing has been published in Bending Genres, X-Ray Lit, Pigeonholes, Savant Garde, and others. His work has been nominated for Best of the Net, and he was a finalist in the last Glimmer Train Short Story competition. Okay, Zeke, go ahead.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having us, and thank you, everybody. I see a lot of familiar names out there. Pretty excited about this anthology, so if you get a chance, the stories in it are beautiful. Without further ado, mine is called Right as Rain. When I was 59 and about a year out of a 27-year marriage, I chose to get a breast reduction for my 60th birthday. I despised my breasts, huge farm stock heftiness inherited from my mother. The surgeon palmed gel samples and I said, smaller. And finally, honestly, I want them gone. I don't want them at all. She sat back in her chair. We can do that. She grabbed a piece of paper and drew 3 sketches, a mastectomy with female nipples, one with male nipples, and one with no nipples, only scars. I pointed to the second drawing. That one. That's the one I want. I'm not trans, but I love the masculine look. Then that's what we'll do. Do you want to be a man? My ex asked. I knew this conversation about the surgery would be awkward. I'd gone to pick up the dogs that we share custody of and needed to tell her, but didn't want to expend energy explaining. It wasn't about her or us. No, I said. I want to feel comfortable in my body for once in my life. She is a kind and loving woman who identifies as a lesbian, a word that never described me. I was always gay or queer. I blamed her for refusing to see me, but how can you blame someone for not seeing what you were unwilling to show? When I was a kid, we lived on a maple-lined street in a valley nestled in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. In the spring, when the rain washed the winter from the streets and the air smelled like angel's breath, I'd stand on the petals of my stingray and run my fingers through fluorescent green leaves. Water dripped through my hair and down my neck. I was Davy Crockett hiding in the branches with my pop gun, hunting game, slaying enemies, and heroically rescuing the captive girl. The house we lived in had been home to a family who moved away after the mother died. They left things behind in their grief. A curler in the corner of the master bedroom, a plastic army in the dirt below the treehouse, one sock in the laundry room, a ruby red rosary in the kitchen cupboard, a Funkin' Wagnalls encyclopedia, volume 15, Judge Long, in the bookcase. On the top floor, just off my bedroom, was an attic with a tiny window. The room was filled with dusty boxes, a dresser, a chest of boys' clothes, and a full-length mirror propped against the wall. I went there to escape. I'd turn on my Zenith radio, dance, and sing to every song, imagining I was the lead singer in a boy band. I stood in front of the mirror, wondering who I was and how to be, searching for a reason for the difference I recognized but couldn't name. I tried on church camp sweatshirts and baggy jeans, a pair of royal blue Speedos that I stuffed a sock into. I flexed my muscles and swam through the air, the butterfly, freestyle, and breaststroke. In the attic, I was not a topless girl, but a boy, dreaming of the girls I wanted like rain. In a drug-hazed stupor after my top surgery, I looked down at the fresh scars and yellow nipple covers and sang, "Hey, it's my birthday." And at home, my new girlfriend opened empty drains full of blood and tissue, even though she's squeamish. She changed the dressings and wrapped the ace bandage around my chest. With each rotation, I would kiss her face and sing "I'll Cover You" from Rent. I lay on the couch for weeks recovering, watching reality television and YouTube videos. Trans men shared their journeys through surgeries, hormones, name changes, even which packers they preferred for everyday use and play. "Babe, do you think you might be trans?" my girlfriend asked. "No, I just like their stories." When I was 12, my breasts arrived uninvited. I hated them. Obtrusive and obstructionist. They betrayed the thin and muscled swimmer I was, so I'd strap them in and deny them. I was envious of the boys who had been my friends but started leaving me behind, running shirtless in the streets, the sun rolling over their skin. I tried dating them, but it felt wrong. My high school boyfriend was a skull ring, back pocket Wrangler wearing, dark-haired, brown-eyed pickup and gun rack, bale buck muscle, big sky, summer tan cowboy. I wanted to be him more than I wanted him. I danced with that boy in the gymnasium under crepe paper streamers and swirling lights. I watched a girl move across the floor, and 2 nights later I would kiss her and break his heart. The girls were right as rain. I was their guy, holding doors, carrying their books and lifting them up, lying beside them on riverbanks, rubbing baby oil into their bronzing shoulders, into ribs and the smalls of their back. I squinted to see them shiver and watch goosebumps rise on their skin. I passed windows, my reflection, an eerie combination of my mother and father. I was both and neither. I was strong, proud of my arms, shoulders, and legs, capable and sturdy. I loved when girls ran their fingertips over my skin, their whispers and kisses painfully sweet like a tattoo. But I bound my breasts, held them from touch and gaze. After my surgery, with the load off my chest, the swimmer returned. My shoulders were broad and muscles, my pecs defined. I started running again, something I hadn't done for years. My body was like a refurbished classic car, and I wanted to see what it could do. I took it out for a spin. But I did too much too soon, and developed a seroma that the surgeon drained with a gigantic needle, and I would end up needing reparative surgery. I had ghost boob sensations. I had a dozen sport bras sitting on my dresser that I wanted to ceremoniously burn but couldn't bring myself to. It felt like tempting fate. Part of me still couldn't believe that it would last. I was afraid they'd grow back. My girlfriend was attracted to my masculinity. She never hinted that I should tone it down or settle for androgyny. In the spring, I proposed. I also started reading books by trans men and followed as many of them as I could find on social media. They were telling my story. As our wedding approached, I finally said, I think I'm trans. I wanted to give her the choice to opt out. She hadn't signed up for this, but she kissed me and said, I know. Alexander Chi wrote, it isn't just that we fall in love with someone. You each allow yourself new identities with each other, new skins, almost like a cocoon, to who you'll be next. And this time, I was willing to show her who I was, who I'd always been. And we were married in a Montana ghost town on a gorgeous October day. I threw the bras away. That December, I started T. My ex, who's a registered nurse, gave me my first shot. She had never wanted to be with a man, but still she loved me and would support me through this journey. Second puberty began in earnest. The zits, bottom growth, and sex drive. I was constantly grabbing my wife's makeup mirror, flipping it to the magnifying side, looking for new hair follicles on my face and chest. I searched my hairline to make sure it was still intact. My voice started to crack and one day dropped. 6 months in, I had a visible beard and shadow stash. The veins in my arms stood out. I'd always been muscular, but they came in sharper. My mother started to fade from my features, and my father, who had passed, was alive in my face. I'm 63, and for the first time in my life, I love the reflection looking back at me. I jump into pools, lakes, and rivers shirtless. The faint scars on my chest are covered with tufts of hair. My wife tells me that I'm handsome. She runs her hand over my chest and down the length of my stomach, right as rain. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zeke. Every time I hear that or read that, my heart. Thank you. Beautiful. Okay. Next up is Ellen Birkett Morris, and her piece is in the section What We Do to Heal. it's a short, it's a tiny piece, and but it really is so powerful. I chose it because of its quiet beauty and the way it brings memory and the present and healing all together. So your bio, Ellen Birkett Morris's novel, Beware the Tall Grass, is the winner of the Donald I think it's Jordan Award for Literary Excellence, judged by Lan Samantha Chang, and will be published in 2024 by CSU Press. She's the author of Lost Girls short stories, winner of the Pencraft Award, and finalist for the Clara Johnson, Ian, and Best Book Awards. Her essays have appeared in Newsweek, AARP's The Ethel, O Reader magazine, and on National Public Radio. Okay, Alan.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. And I just wanted to say it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to go after Zeke, and it's an honor to be part of this collection. In every reading that I've participated in, there's just been an amazing feeling of solidarity. And that was really new to me, to feel in company with people who've experienced some of what I've experienced. So my piece is called Walking Meditation. I spent years ignoring my body, ignoring the tightness in my calves from cerebral palsy, ignoring a limp from surgery that left me always slightly off balance. I walked quickly down hallways just to get it over with and across broken pavement, falling occasionally. When I was young, there was no penalty for this disconnection. It was so easy to pretend that nothing was going on that sometimes other people wouldn't notice my limp. This gave me a kind of perverse satisfaction, the cognitive dissonance of having passed for quote unquote normal, tinged with the shame of hiding an important aspect of who I am and what I endure. When I hit my mid-30s, all of this changed. Arthritis had set in from walking with an uncorrected gait, and undiagnosed rheumatoid arthritis left me with roving joint and muscle pain. I went to physical therapy, did hot soaks, used braces, pain patches, and pain reliever. All of that helped, but it did nothing to address the mental fatigue and worry that came with a body that was always clamoring for my attention. On the advice of a friend, I tried a meditation class that met in a small Unitarian church that managed to be both run down and beautiful. We sat in a small circle, eyes closed, breathing, while I noticed the outdoor sounds. Birds sang and lawnmowers buzzed as I tried to focus on my breath. Sometimes I would sneak glances at the others just to see if they might be looking at me. A writer of fiction, I would find myself weaving stories about their lives, but I had yet to find my mind-body connection. Then we tried walking meditation. We lined up in our sock feet with the instructions to feel every part of the process. I put one foot in front of the other, arms out for balance, willing myself to slow down. I felt my feet against the cold floor, then the push of the ball of my foot as I stepped forward, the firmness of my heel, the firmness with which my heel landed. As I walked, I recalled the slap of my feet on the floor of the doctor's office as I took my first steps after surgery. I was a child then and motivated to reach the doctor, who I knew would reach into his pocket and hand me some gum. This time, I felt the wonder of every step. This act I used to rush through. One foot after the other, I walked past dusty pews as evening light shone through the stained glass window, mindful of my movement, for once at home within myself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ellen. That piece is a meditation in itself. Thank you. Okay. Next is Tanya Richard, whose piece is in taking up space. And I love this piece because it deals with literally taking up space, the body. How much space do we take up as in our bodies, and what are we allowed to? What is okay? And it also brings in race and very powerfully all around a swimming pool. So I'm going to read your bio, Tanya, and then you take it away. Tanya Richard is a published writer, award-winning actress, teacher, and anti-racism educator. Her platform, Tanya's Take, showcases her podcasts, essays, DEI educational content, and video. Her blog, Writing My Mind, was on the Chicago Tribune's blog site for 10 years. She's also an award-winning playwright. Her commentary can be heard on Out Chicago, NPR's The Story, All Things Considered, and WTTW's Chicago Tonight.
Hi, everyone. Here is an excerpt from my piece. When I swim, I don't feel my body in the same way I do when I'm on the ground. I don't feel the weight of it, the pain of it, the trauma, the history, or the shame. After I finish my laps, I float on my back just past the shallow end. I lower my legs until I tilt over onto my stomach. As I tilt forward, I stretch out my left arm and point my finger while I bend my right arm and rest it on my hip. I am a superhero, ready to take off for flight. I repeat this move over and over until the slow tilt forward feels seamless and natural. As my body rotates, I imagine that my black swimsuit transforms into a bodysuit with a flowing black cape. My goggles turn into a cat-eye shaped mask. I probably look like a weirdo, but I don't care. In the pool, I don't care about anything but the meditative strokes of my freestyle, the resistance of the water as I move against the current with a blue noodle between my legs. I don't care what I look like when I do intermittent water aerobics and jumping jacks in the middle of the pool or balletic stretches on the side. When I swim, I have a swimmer's body, long, lean, small, pert breasts, flat stomach, taut arms, a space between my legs. When I get out of the pool, my body has mass. My breasts are big, my waist is thick, and my thighs touch. My arms have contour and muscle, but I think they are big and don't like to show them. My skin is brown. I have no idea if I'm fat or thin. I think I'm slightly larger than average size, but I don't actually know if that's true. I spend most of my time around white women at a distance. I see them in locker rooms or in attendance when I lead a workshop on anti-racism. White women tend to make themselves even smaller than, in deference. I don't expect them to, but it happens. In grade school and high school, I thought I was fat. I felt fat. Was I fat? All my classmates were tiny white girls. I performed in musical theater, so in my free time, I was around tiny white girls who were dancers. That certainly doesn't help my sense of self. If I grew up around Black girls, I would have seen myself reflected more often than never. But I didn't grow up around Black girls. In high school, I ate my way far away from the white girl ideal. In college, I tried to shrink myself back with OptiFast. Then that loss lasted until I gained the weight back and then some. In my 20s, it was Weight Watchers, then watching the weight come back, then Weight Watchers, then maintenance, then childbearing, then Weight Watchers again. And always a steady diet of body shame and confusion, resulting in ever-present dysmorphia. Back to the pool, or really the locker room. One time, a white woman who shared a lane with me passed by and says, "It looks like you're having so much fun just splashing around in there." Her tone had a suggestion of sarcasm, a tinge of judgment. I hear subtext, so I knew she meant, the pool is meant for real swimmers, and even though you weren't in my way, I still don't approve of how you took up space. It looks like you're having so much fun just splashing around in there. I responded with, you know, I really am. Then flashed an overdone, satisfied smile. My subtext, I can do whatever the fuck I want, and your commentary isn't welcome. I abruptly decided to start swimming in June of 2022. I was sitting in the family room, feeling irritable, bloated, and cramped in our green Art Deco armchair. I kept shifting my weight, crossing and uncrossing my legs. The rayon and spandex material of my pants overheated my skin. Even though they were loose around my waist, the fact that I could feel the waistband at all made them intolerable. I'd recently seen a picture of myself that sent me spiraling into regret and self-hatred. In the picture, I'm wearing black pants, a green flowing shirt, and black mules. I sit on the corner of a table along with two older white men and a young, lithe white woman. They all looked exactly as they did in person, so the picture I saw of myself had to be accurate. My face was fuller than I thought. My shoulders were more rounded. I'm smiling and look healthy, average for my size. I had gained back every one of the 15 pounds I'd lost from having COVID and pneumonia when I was the thinnest I'd ever been. Once I was out of the woods, I loved the way my cheekbones popped and my collarbones jutted out on Zoom calls or selfies I'd post on social media. At a kid's outdoor birthday party, a mom said that I looked gaunt, her face shadowed with concern. I took it as a compliment. I looked drawn, tired, fragile, and weak, but I couldn't conceive that being emaciated wasn't some kind of win. The picture was proof that I'd come out of a life-threatening illness. I wanted to be grateful that I was physically healthy again, to accept that weight gain was, in fact, a good thing. I needed to find a way to connect to my body that had nothing to do with how it looked. I grabbed my phone, looked up swim times at the YMCA, then announced I was going for a swim. In the pool, I take on whatever challenge I fancy. 2 laps of breaststroke, to freestyle, mid-lane aerobics, then freestyle again. Because when I swim, I listen to my inner voice and answer my spirit's every request. Then, out of the pool, I am able to move through the world with skin attached to my bones. I am not defined by what my body looks like. I am not only my body. I am the children that I've carried, the love that I make, my connection to each present moment. In the pool, I point to the future in my superhero stance, and that holds me until I'm back in the water again.
So wonderful, Tanya.
Thank you.
You are a superhero. Yes, you know, I feel that pain, you know, I know that some of that pain anyway. And that pushing back there is so important. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Wonderful.